Okay, everyone. Okay, everyone. I'm Michael Huber, and several members of the photography club asked if I could show how I've been getting those composite shots lately of my daughters playing sports. And I've been trying to emulate the work of Joel Grimes, kind of that gritty sports look that's actually a composite. So I'm going to show you kind of how I take the subject photos in my little shop here, and then we'll go take a look at an actual site or background photo. But what I have for lighting, it's pretty simple. It's a 3-point light setup with these fluorescent lights that I built from Menards, and have daylight balanced bulbs in there, and I have them on either side equally, and I want the subject to be kind of in front of the light, so I end up getting a light glow or a wrap around the subject, like it's backlit. And then I've got this 43-inch umbrella that has a speed light inside, and that is my fill or main light on the subject. So I'll end up getting this glow from the back and then the front lit as well. So in terms of the camera, I'm using a wide angle lens because I want that exaggerated body look. So actually I'm shooting at about 10 millimeters on a crop sensor camera, and I'm shooting down low. So when they're jumping in the air, it looks like they're really jumping in the air. I can capture the bottoms of their shoes and things like that. So anyway, let's take some shots. Okay. So we're ready to take a few shots. Got the camera down, pointing up at her, which is kind of the look I want in this shot. And I'm not too concerned about the lights or the ceiling. I mean, I know I'll get some of that in there, but in the end, I'm going to end up kind of magic lassoing and cropping her out to put her into a background as part of this composite. So it's really about getting the form and getting the look that you want. And the challenge is with these speed lights, I do not have high-speed sync, so I need to shoot at 1/200th of a second at the fastest. So I want to try to take the picture when she's at the peak of her jump, so I have less blur there. All right, so why don't you try like you're going for a layup, underhand layup. So 1, 2, 3. Don't jump so far forward though, kind of. All right, now I want you to try to do one between the legs and pretend the basket is up high, and yeah, you want to look mean. You're not having fun here, you're dominating, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, try it again. 1, 2, 3. All right, now turn your body and look that way, not quite that far. Yeah, I mean, and that's the other thing, is the hard part is trying to match up angles from the background to the subject. So take a variety of angled shots. Okay, ready? Okay, well now I'm going to show you how I take on-site photos here, and this is at Willow River Elementary School, one of those shots that I'll show you the final product of. Not really the best day, but ideally if you can get it where there's clouds in the sky, all the better. However, you can have those added or add them in Photoshop if you want. But again, I have my wide angle lens. I'm trying to get it low and try to get near the same angle that I think works well with those other photos that we took. And you can get really close because it is a wide angle lens. So again, you get down, try to look for the composition, not anything different than what you typically would do on a normal photograph. And then the trick here is to actually do HDR. So I do bracket 2 below, 1 right on, 2 stops above, and merge them in Photoshop just as an HDR. Gives me more dynamic range, which really helps trying to blend the two photos together. So get it all set up, take my shots, and there you go. All right, well, here I am in front of the computer. This image is the process HDR image. I just combined the 3 shots that I took of the basketball hoop. And then I apply some layers. I exported this into Photoshop, and I apply some layers. I desaturate a little bit, add a photo filter, a few other things to grunge it up. Here's the original shot of my oldest daughter, Jordan. You can see the 3 light setup, the camera down low. Then I exported that as a smart object into Photoshop and then cut her out using the magic wand selection tool, and then just dragged her into that background image. And so here obviously you've got to transform her, twist her, get the scale, and set the composition correctly. And I thought this looked, you know, pretty good. And then I added a layer where a gradient filter, popping some white behind her, again to try to blend the images together. And if you remember, we photographed her on a white background, so as good as the selection tool is, there's always going to be some white around her edges. In fact, I do use a filter mask, and I use a Gaussian blur just to blur the edges of her a little bit, to help try to make it a little more real. But if we were putting this in a background where there was black, you'd want to take the photo of the subject with a black background, again just to help blend that together. And then once I'm happy, I just flatten it all and bring it into Camera Raw and play with it. So desaturation always helps in terms of blending the composite together. And then I pop the highlights, you know, add some contrast and clarity, and you know, still learning, but anyway, that's kind of how I'm pulling these things together. So hopefully you learned a little something, and here's a couple others that I tried as well. So thanks.